Michael Pack picked himself to be the chairman of all of those boards, advising all of those networks, where he's just fired all of the heads of the networks and fired everybody who was advising them and put in his little club full of Cub Scouts who he handpicked to advise them instead.
The head of the U.S. Agency for Global Media is pushing back against attacks like that one from the mainstream media, writing in a recent Wall Street Journal opinion column that, quote, "The journalists my agency oversees look up to the most prestigious members of mainstream media, the Washington Post, New York Times, NPR, CNN. These organizations are nakedly and unapologetically partisan, and networks like VOA follow their lead." So let's bring in U.S. AGM CEO Michael Pack. Great to have you back, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, I want to read another line from your piece. You go on to say after that, you say American taxpayers cannot be expected to continue to spend $1 billion a year for the government equivalent of MSNBC. They say you are the one who is giving the VOA a biased or partisan tone. So how do you respond?
Well, I've been head of the agency for about 7 months. And my only goal has been to get it to fulfill its legally mandated mission, its charter, which is to present objective, balanced, comprehensive news, tell America's story to the world. And that is all I've asked from the networks. You ran a piece that was just days after I started where I got rid of the political heads of the networks and put their number 2 career people in charge. And Rachel Maddow chose to portray that as bias. Recently, I've appointed new heads of networks, and they, too, are just criticized. But really, the goal is to just make it objective and balanced. And the real problem is, as that quote from my Wall Street Journal article indicates, is it's very hard for these networks to be objective and balanced. As I say, they admire the mainstream media, and as many other segments on your show illustrates, the mainstream media itself is far from balanced. So it's hard to appeal to these people to what is, in fact, an old standard of news. Mm-hmm. So that is all I am trying to do.
So NPR, by the way, one of the agencies that you, the outlets that you singled out, they have a piece called "The Voice of America CEO Accused of Fraud, Misuse of Office All in One Week." And they detail a number of things involving lawsuits, accusations about you funneling money. They say that you've tried to quiet whistleblower claims. I mean, they outline all kinds of allegations. Are you saying that there's no merit to them? Are they, what's motivating them? How do you respond?
Yes, there is no merit to them. I mean, every time I've tried to reform something in the agency, people declare themselves whistleblowers. I mean, for example, one egregious example of bias that we found, which is discussed in the Wall Street Journal piece, is a video from the Urdu service of the Voice of America. This was during the campaign, and it was essentially a repackaged Biden ad. It was not targeted, as the Urdu service is supposed to be, to Pakistan, but really to Michigan, an appeal to Michigan Muslims to flip the state for Biden. And when I tried to discipline some of the people responsible for what is clearly a violation of the VOA's charter, they declared themselves whistleblowers, they sued in federal court, they resisted. Mm-hmm. Because I think, Shannon, there's a feeling that the network belongs to them, that the media belongs in the hands of the left, and that any attempts to present an old-fashioned kind of bias looks like a right-wing slant to them.
So, I mean, a number of these agencies that we're talking about, they get U.S. taxpayer money. So where is the accountability built in? I know that you say you came in there and you tried to make changes. You faced lawsuits and accusations and whistleblowers. But if it's supposed to be straight down the middle, you know, just sharing, as you said, the American story with the world, communicating accurately, who makes those decisions about making sure it's neutral?
Well, that really is my responsibility, and I am trying to adhere to it. And now it is the people I've appointed to head these networks. It's going to be their responsibility. But I think really Congress, who after all appropriates this almost $1 billion to this agency, should hold it accountable. And I think it needs to be held accountable. And it's not just bias. We have found also gross mismanagement. For example, we found that it's an agency of about 4,000 people, and 1,500 had improper security clearances, a massive security problem. For over 10 years, the agency had ignored reports from the Office of Personnel Management and the Office of Director of National Intelligence of security problems. They had, and this was only the second agency in 20 years, they had their authority to issue clearances revoked, and even after it was revoked, they continued to issue clearances, including sending up false Social Security numbers and failing to take proper fingerprints. And this included a large number of people with top secret security clearances. And when I tried to look into that, once again, that was looked at. There were whistleblowers. This was looked at as an overreaction. But really, it's a massive security problem, and it took a great deal of time to clean it up. I'm proud that it's on the road to being cleaned up, and I hope that if a new team comes in, they will find a better managed agency behind.
Well, it is taxpayer money, so I think we all should be able to have some sunlight on what goes on there, and I know that's part of what you've tried to do. Quickly, we got to go.
Yes, it's taxpayer money, and the real point of it is not just to present objective news, but to tell America's story, to promote our values to the world, which is more important now than ever before. We're under attack.
Yeah.
Our values from China, from North Korea, from others. We need to tell America's story, and can we agree on it and get an agency to tell it? I think that's an important problem facing the country.
Michael Pack, we got to leave it there. Thank you so much.